Reason why I started podcasting, because I went through so much emotionally. I wish I had someone talking about their anxiety and being bullied or getting cheated on, because I didn't have that growing up. And I'm so happy that I am here on this couch today in a happy state and able to talk about it.
And I think I'm trying to putting myself first, and that's just making me do something to exercise or whatever. But it's important that I find time to do something for myself and not just for everybody else all the time.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to Tall Blonde. Everybody, and welcome back to Tall Blonde by Sarah Lauren, and that is Sarah Lauren Semkowski. So I want to introduce you guys to some people, so I'm going to bring them in, and these are the Semkowskis. Okay, so I don't know who's going to be talking the most, but we're going to have to pass the mics around, so be generous, okay, with passing this around. So I do go by Sarah Lauren, and a lot of people randomly call me Lauren, which I don't know why, but that is my middle name, and my last name is Semkowski, for those of you who don't know. And this is the Semkowski bunch. So we're going to start off by just doing a little blurb, a little bio, not too long, of who we are. But first of all, since you think this is hilarious, how are you feeling today?
I am probably the most refreshed out of the bunch up here this morning. I feel really great, as you can probably see with the bags under my eyes. I had a rough morning. Our podcast is probably an hour and a half to 2 hours late. I will take full credit for that. But it might not surprise any of the viewers, especially all my friends, because I am known to be quite late now.
She used to be really good at the timing thing, but that has rapidly decreased over the years. But we did have our Thanksgiving dinner last night, and we will go around to do a kind of recap on what we did, because my mom had the great idea of doing what we're thankful for. And I think that tells a lot about our family too, and the dynamic. As much as we may get in screaming arguments or crazy times, we do love each other. But what was your excuse for your hangover this morning?
Something you ate.
Yeah, I blame the food.
We're all confused with that one.
Dad said maybe it's the red wine. We're not sure. A combination of both.
Pete's excuse was you woke up with a sinus infection. Was that it?
Yes. No, not a very sore throat. That was concerning.
So
me.
It wasn't. It's honestly hilarious, the lies that we tell ourselves to just say when we are hungover, because my mom is on our asses about to stop drinking, because it is something that we all quite enjoy, but we enjoy even more doing it as a family. But because you try so hard to push us away from it, I think that we now have to make crazy excuses.
Reverse psychology. I guess I have to change it up a bit then.
We might have
Drink a lot.
So we're all working on that. We're all still growing in that aspect, but I think we're doing pretty good. And the excuses are very creative, so I'm glad that we have a creative family. So let's go, and we'll start with the eldest. Father, you can give us
That hurt. That's kind of a punch in the nose.
a brief little bio.
For those who I haven't met out there, my name's Brian Semkowski, and I'm the proud father of these three and the proud husband of Heather Semkowski. So I own a brewery, so when Heather says stop drinking, I'm actually on the other side of it saying, please drink more. And I think that's it. So.
Thank you, Brian. My name's Heather Semkowski. I originally was from Winnipeg, so I'm a prairie girl. I make our whole family go back. It's mandatory attendance every Christmas to go to Winnipeg when it's very, very cold, but we get to see all of my family. I'm the proud mother of these 3 lovely children, and we are very excited when they all do come home. So that's it from my end. Here's Peter.
I'm Peter.
I'm keeping both in.
Okay. I'm Sarah's oldest brother.
You're my only brother.
I'm Sarah's only brother, but I'm the oldest brother and the oldest. And I live in Toronto with Sarah. with my girlfriend, Maddie. And I own a company called Ox where we do technology installations, and that's across Canada and the US. But yeah, so I've been in Toronto for about 5 years. Sarah recently moved back there, and it's been great having her in the city again. And yeah, it's
Has
great.
it?
Yeah, it is. It is. It was tougher when Sarah was young, where there's an age gap in high school. So you're I didn't get to go to high school with her and more protective. But now as we've grown, we've become more friends, which is awesome. So we go out together, have similar friend groups. Yeah.
I think we are each other's friend groups.
We are each other's friend groups. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll go out and I'll run into his friends, and I honestly think they're mine, and not even if Peter's not there. I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll hang out with you.
And I'm fine. Or they'll snap me with Sarah,
Yeah.
just saying that, yeah, they're out at the bar. I'm like, gee, yeah, there you go.
We try everything to get you out, but sometimes you put your foot down.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
Jen doesn't get the whole Toronto experience yet, but
Yeah, no, I appreciate Toronto for a good 48 hours tops, and then I really like leaving it. My name's Jennifer. I'm the middle child. I live in Ottawa. I'm the only one that's not on this side of Toronto or close by, but I live in Ottawa with my dog, Oakley. And what else am I supposed to say?
What do you do?
she just actually. What do you do?
What do you do? Maybe.
What do I do for fun? No, for a job, I'm a teacher. I teach grade 5 now, and I'm excited about that. Other than that, not too much. I don't do too much.
She got her full-time gig in teaching grade 5, which was a big accomplishment.
Thank you.
It is not easy to be a teacher now, right? Because there's so many people trying to get in that same career path. Whatever that thing's called. But let's kind of swoop back into last night and explain a bit about what we said we were grateful for this year, especially, and over the past year, because we are a very close-knit family and we do a lot together. We still do March break trips because Jen's in that school curriculum, so our March break is her March break. But we still do all those trips. We still hang out as much as we can. We all found it a little appreciative of the fact that we all just wanted to even come back for this Thanksgiving, because I know a lot of people that didn't go back to their family or couldn't get back to their family because they were living too far. And because I'm back in New York now, it was a lot easier. But at the same point, Jen had to drive 6 hours coming back to Toronto from New York. But Jen still had to drive 6 hours, so that was a hike. I had to drive hungover. That was a hike. Pete had to drive.
Not hungover.
Which,
Still
traffic. And our parents appreciated it. So explain, your take on that in a little brief sum up of what we said last night.
So what I said, what I'm thankful for is this whole thing of being, having what we have, being where we are, living close enough that we get to see each other, and the fact that everybody comes to see us. The second thing would be us, this people on this couch, and Maddie, that our family is together, and I think that's what I'm most thankful for, is that we're able to do this together.
Yeah, I said very similar things to Brian. I'm very thankful and grateful for the health of all of us, and that our kids get along really well and they want to be together, because you can't force that happening. And they are actually really good friends with a lot of our friends' kids too, which I think we're very thankful for. I also added last night that I was very grateful that my mother and dad are still alive and healthy. Ernie, my stepdad, just turned 100 this year. So and he remembers everything from when he was a little kid. My mom's just turned 85 this year too. So very grateful for not just the health of us, but also of my family too. So, and very proud of our kids. I think I mentioned that before, so that's the second.
Say it one more time.
Yeah, I think on my end, it's going to be the same thing said every time, but just having everyone happy, healthy, and they like to be together is the biggest thing. So Sarah being in Toronto with our friend groups, being actually friends there is awesome. And seeing Jenny, which again is the same thing. We just love being together, and with our parents, it's family, but it's like friendship too when you're able to have fun just being with them and enjoy just going down to be with them.
And with that being said, like, I mean, we are so close knit and we are such a loving bunch and we're always there for each other. I mean, I remember being bullied in school and I had, like, my family had my back 100 times over. They would do anything if I needed it, and we would all do the same going through anything in life. But I do want to preface that we are not perfect. We have our times. Sometimes I hate you all, but I do end up loving you. But no family's perfect, and we're not trying to be perfect. We are very much so in our, own walks of life, all 5 of us. And I think it's just really nice because we also keep each other in check. I do get told sometimes I'm wrong but strong, and that's fine. But true and fine. But we're all people at the end of the day, and we have feelings, we have emotions, we go through things. But I'm just happy that we always come back, because sometimes you go through fights as families and you hear stories of people that don't come back from things. And I think that we've all never experienced that, and hopefully do never experience that. But what is your guys' take on, just like as being a parent, what you would even give as tips as to how families kind of could get over things or should get over things, or what's your take on it?
I don't know. I think I just want to maybe add to what you were saying too. I think what I like about this group is, you're right, we're not perfect. I have anxiety. I also like things in order. And I know we each have our own kind of special, unique qualities, but we appreciate that. So when one of us is getting really anxious or doing something, you're not going to jump on them. You kind of understand that that's just them and maybe helping them navigate through it. And same with the families too. Like my family is not perfect. People here have called them the Addams family because they're very different in many special, unique ways. But and then even Brian's family, like everybody's got things you're dealing with. But I think if you navigate, understand where they're coming from, like we're all not perfect, and forgiving, being able to say, maybe we are looking at things a little differently. Can we communicate and talk about it and move forward and understand that everybody's got a different way of looking at it, and that's probably the way I would suggest.
So what I'm grateful for, just kidding.
But you're a very good forgiveness, and you teach kids in grade 5. Oh yeah,
That's why I said that.
go ahead.
I think we
That
said
was
it all.
Oh,
What
yeah,
you gonna
I was gonna say I feel like we can't rewind that one though. But I'll have my moment to shine later.
No, but since teaching grade 5s, you have to deal with like forgiveness every day, and people probably punch people in the face, and you have to teach them how to
me
get
as well,
over
I
it.
get punched, yeah.
So how do you teach it? How do you teach forgiveness? How do you, even teach family dynamics and how to treat other people? Because in a world that a lot is going on, how are you implying that to, people that are still developing, still growing up?
I feel like it's not even just forgiveness you're just teaching them how to be a good person. Like, let's just be a good person. So let's create an environment where you're happy to come to school, you feel safe, you feel heard, no matter what we're learning or what I'm teaching in the curriculum, you're happy to come to school and you feel like you belong there. And that's my number one thing, because every single person sitting in that room is different. And I don't stand up there and say I'm perfect. Like, I don't know everything. So we all know I'm not probably the best speller. So maybe.
Nor am I.
Sometimes. Or a kid will ask a question and I say, honestly, I don't know the answer to that. Like, let's research it together. And then they don't look at me like, you know everything. No, like, I'm still learning too. And so they don't feel bad making mistakes. And I say, you don't have to like every single person in this room. You're not going to be best friends with every single person. But at the end of the day, you're going to respect them and you're going to be kind. And if that's how this classroom operates, then I'm okay with that.
And growing up, we always had the family saying of treat people the way you want to be treated, because regardless of if you have more or less, everybody is imperfect in their own perfect way. So, you do have to treat everyone with the same respect that you want to get back from them. I remember in elementary school and stuff, it was a lot different back then with teaching and things. And I know a lot you've even mentioned has been changed with, you can't give kids hugs, or there's no winners in sports and things. Everyone gets a participation ribbon. But I didn't mind the whole, we had spelling tests, and then if we didn't get them right, mom and dad would make us sit there and write the word 10 times over. So I was there for 24 hours writing every single word 10 times over. I think it was 48 or something like that, but it was nice. And I mean, I grew up thinking that dad knew everything though, because he did have an answer for everything. So do you want to say anything? Yeah. No, I thought that was a compliment, honestly. Right. Like, I think that the whole dad thing is like, you always have an answer for everything. And Peter being in like studying medical sciences and things like that, I thought every single thing I had a question about physically, I was like, okay, Peter will have the answer. And you probably made up something sometimes. Probably. Or you were like, Google it. And I'm like, true, that's also a good way to go. But does anyone have anything to say about that? What Jen kind of mentioned with
dad always being right.
Being kind? Or?
No, not being kind. With
I was always right. No, I think what I'm amazed at is how you guys grow up having Google and everything and being able to answer, but you still come back to your parents for you can find things out on the internet, whatever you want, but yeah, you come back to your parents for an answer. Which is cool. And that's so nice to be a parent. That, yeah, we really appreciate it.
You like when I send you anything that happens to my car, I'm like, Dad, this happened, or my steering wheel is shaking. And he's like, okay. Like, can't see it. You're 6.5 hours away.
Yeah, normally I don't tell them what happens. I just let them find it out on their own. Like I did injure my car the other day, but
Injure,
yeah. I did a little scratchy scratch, but Dad's here to help.
It adds to the other scratchy scratch.
Yeah, I did say, he goes, what happened to the front of your car? I'm like, I've literally no idea. Like, I pulled out of the parking garage, I drove home, didn't hit anything, and I guess it just happened. Yeah. Jen had my car for a while. Maybe she did a little scrap on that.
2 years ago she had it. Maybe it's from back then, we just never saw it yet.
But because Dad owned dealerships before, I feel like he has a connect some way. So I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. That's it. Exactly. It'll be fine.
Yeah, when you have like actual experience in that and like people, it's easier to ask because you can probably direct that to someone you know. Yeah, and get it fixed a lot faster.
Guys, Oakley's still wearing her Toronto Maple Leafs collar because they won yesterday. Because she wore it.
This won't go out as the game was yesterday, so they won in the past.
All right, well,
the one game, their third game.
So if they ever don't win, it's because she's not wearing the collar. Yeah. Now let's get into the family dynamic, because I feel like this will be the funny part. And I want to kind of get into what roles we each play. And I guess even people will kind of get to gauge it with the way we're all speaking. And I mean, I have to be the one guiding this conversation, so I'm going to be the one talking a little bit more. But I do feel like I do that.
I feel like you would do it anyways. Yeah,
probably.
Like, even if you weren't the host. Yep.
But let's kind of gauge the roles. And I don't think it's probably easy to gauge your own role and say, who you are. So let's allow someone to pick on somebody else. It's all fun and games, and say what role you think they play in the family dynamic or in general.
Okay, I'll do an easy starting one. The parents. So mom would be more of the caring, sympathizing person of the two. Even they're both very caring, and obviously, but when you're going for maybe a more personal thing, or like a broken TV that happened or something like that, you would go to mom first, because she's just not just going to be more caring. I don't know how to describe that, but caring about it. And
yeah, because sometimes I've said, I've broken that, Dad. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I wrecked that car when really I didn't, but I thought, you know what, I'll deflect it on myself.
Yeah, yes, exactly. She'll be take one for the team, and she puts the kids above herself, which Dad does too, obviously, but she'll just, take the blame first and doing all of that.
More emotionally responsive, and Dad's more like, if you need anything to get done, he will do it in seconds. It's a miracle, really.
Dad looks for like the solution, like he looks to solve the problem, whereas mom first will give like emotional comfort, and then like pass off the solution to the problem to Dad.
Yes. They have a great team dynamic.
That's a good way to say it.
It works.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do you guys disagree with that at all?
No, the only thing I'd say is I think sometimes I plan a little bit more, and then make Brian execute some of that. This is what we're gonna do. You call all those people. So I don't know. I don't know if I've figured it out, but it works.
Yeah, I wanted to say mom, so someone else can do dad, I guess, and someone else can do someone
Then
else.
how about, since Jen, you started, how about you finalize dad's role in the family? Role in the team.
Role in the team. I feel like Peter's right. Like mom plans. She's really good at planning, and she has everything down to a T, which I quite like. But dad's very good at doing. Like dad gets things done. He does things. He's always ready to go. And something you're really good at is like being social. Like you're just always good at talking to people, or even helping us like talk to people or incorporate people in our lives. And I think you're probably like, I would say the leader. That sounds like, yeah, like you just but like by example, like you just lead. And I feel like I don't know if that's your role, but if we're gonna like classify a role, I feel like you would be the leader by doing.
I agree.
And I'll say too, like dad, in terms of, he's like very compassionate too, but like in doing, like I'll come back and my car will be filled with gas when I go to take it home. And I'm like, I noticed it on the way home, like, oh my God, like I know my dad filled that up. Like so nice. But you don't like even vocalize it sometimes. You just do it, and then we notice it, and then we're like, oh my God, like so nice. So it's very amazingly compassionate and caring and everything, but you show it in like ways of doing. Yeah.
But I like what you said about the car. I will go back in Ottawa and I'm like, I have to drive home, or I have to go fill my car. And I'm like, I really wish I was at home, because my dad will just like get me gas sometimes. And it's the simplest thing, but it's the nicest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, you can do that for yourself. I'm like, yeah, it's not the same feeling. Like, it's not the same. And he does it for mom too. And I think it's just like those little acts of kindness that like just take something off your plate. Like to me, that's how I feel so loved. And I'm like, you don't notice it until you don't have it.
It's things that you don't ask for that he knows you need. And it's things that we didn't even know we needed at the time, but it's such a thing that we are grateful for. So even if we don't say it every time, because maybe we're on the road and we're like, yes, dad did it. Yeah. But we are appreciative of that. And everything, I mean, because we just both gave the parents, we do probably want to preface that we both, like all of us, are taking everything you guys do. And I can guarantee when we have kids, Jen might be a little quicker to do this since she wants one like tomorrow. But but I honestly do think that we will be doing everything that you guys have done for us for our children too, and we would never know even about any of these things if you guys didn't love us and care for us in that way.
Well, we do, and we do, but that comes from parenting, because that's what my mom and dad did. Yeah. Your mom's mom is the most caring person in the world, and she is loving and kind.
Grandma Betty.
Oh yeah, Grandma Betty's just an unbelievable person, and Ernie's a loving person too, really cares about it. So that's not something that happens. That's something that's taught, and that's taught by our parents to us, and we're hopefully teaching it to you, and hopefully that goes down to our grandkids. Well, it will come to our grandkids from us for sure, because we can't wait for those. But and then I want to go back and talk about the kids a little bit, and saying that, you said very social. You guys are way more social than I ever was, or mom and I ever were. You guys are great in front of people. I can't believe how good you are in social situations. Our friends comment on that all the time, going, I just had such a lovely conversation with your daughter, your son. Oh my God, he's just such a good person. And that's a proud papa moment. That's a proud mom moment. And then to touch on that, Heather does organize everything. And I'm just the executor. I get my walking papers and I go, okay, you go out and do this.
So I might have said, make sure you fill the kids' gas tanks up before. No, but I have to say, we are not perfect parents by any means. I mean, we have learned, just like you guys are learning growing up too. But I hope that when we see something we should change, we really try to modify our behavior, do something, but we still are never going to be perfect at that role. But it's just fun to see you guys being three different people, being able to kind of work together, solving things. I know you've got your own secret group chats that we're not invited in, but that's fine. I think that's really cool, because
hey, you two have one too with Peter and Maddie that me and Sarah boosted out of.
True enough.
True.
I didn't even know this.
True.
Oh, is this the Wordle? Yeah.
Oh, it's Wordle though. Yeah.
Keep that one. I don't want anything to do. We talked about the whole spelling thing. I am not perfect at that. Let me tell you that
That's
for
why
sure.
you probably should do Wordle.
That's what. No, I have never even looked at the app. I don't even know what the app looks like, and I will never invest in that thing ever.
Fair.
But that's okay. That's why we are all different.
Yeah.
And it is like I haven't even thought of the fact that we are all such different people and like such different jobs. I could never in my life be a 5-year or a grade 5 teacher. Never in my life. I would be so frustrated at those kids. I'd have anxiety through the ringer. I don't even know. That just could not happen. And I'm so grateful that you are doing that. But it's like honorable. And I don't even understand how medicine works or how anything science related, and then you going into business, like that's admirable too. Like it's things that I couldn't do, and I just hope and I know that we all try so hard in what we do. We don't just coast ever, but it is pretty cool to even think of it from that perspective, because I've never thought of it in a sense. I just think, oh yeah, we're all, we got our head on right, we're all nice people, we're good people, and we try hard in what we're doing. No, but we've tried hard in what we wanted to do and what we want to execute. We all follow our dreams, and not a lot of people do that.
Yeah. I think like that even early on, especially in sports too, it's like give it 100% with whatever you do. And I heard that from my parents and then coaches too and everything. And yeah, taking that into life or anything is like a very right thing to do, because it's true. And finding something you love to do too. But yeah.
Now, I'm just thinking back. Was the whole gas conversation because you guys are going to be driving back? Is that the reason you put it out there?
Good catch. Yeah.
Mine is definitely empty right now, but it's fine.
And I think too, though, going back to the being parents, good parents and stuff, I don't think anybody being a parent is like knows what it's going to be like to be a parent. You see it, but you don't know. But I think the best thing that you can tell if you're good or not is just like Dad said about friends coming up to you and saying how nice your kids are. That's one. Seeing your kids as friends is another thing, which is
having your friends
yeah.
come here.
Having our friends come here wanting to see you guys and hang out with our family. There's like certain things you can rank or check off if it was a success. And like I think you guys know that it was for sure.
A lot of our friends like really enjoy seeing you two. Like you two are in their minds like a pivotal point of their growing up too, right? Like you guys were parents to them, and they are so comfortable, and I can't speak for everyone's friends, but I know mine are so comfortable. Like they'll see Dad and like, I just saw your dad and we just chatted about this, or Mom, I just saw your mom here and we did this. Like they would hang out with you guys without me, and I think that speaks volumes to the kind of people you guys are too.
It's so funny because the only thing that came to my head when Dad said, oh, people compliment you on how social you are. I did a 2-hour conversation with our priest last weekend. Not last weekend, 2 weekends ago. But he did say
Yeah, you got some good comments on like your generation, so I think he's gonna connect back with you.
yeah, we were talking about how podcasting is actually very similar to being a priest. there are many differences, but there are some similarities, and some we did find. So who knows? Maybe we'll have a podcaster and a priest in the next episode.
Thought of that.
Yeah, I think you can relate something to something at some point on any level. But
listen, if you don't know what to talk about with anyone, relate your two jobs together and see where you can intermingle that's a great way of doing it. And I was left alone with the priest, and I started doing that.
Being a social media influencer is very similar to being a priest.
It was just a hilarious conversation, and I think we both benefited from it. I also repented my sins, so I'm good to go now. So I'm ready. Okay, let's circle back to roles. Who wants to do who for the kids, or the parents could do the kids?
Yeah.
Right.
So we can do the kids.
Okay.
Jennifer is generally the peacemaker, the child that used to be on time, solid, rock solid. You could always depend on her. Has now become the late person, but still the peacemaker in everything. Everything she does is just an easygoing, friendly, fun person that
sporty.
That Peter's friends like, that Sarah's friends love, that everybody kind of.
Yeah, and I think Jen would put herself behind, like not first, so she would do stuff for other people all the time, and maybe that's where what he's similar to maybe what I would do a few times.
Give an example.
Like she would, if Peter's friends needed a ride, she would be the first one from our house to drive all of them downtown and just come back here. And she'd wait for them, saying, "If you need a ride home, I'll be here to pick you up. Just call me." So, not thinking about what she wanted to do that night, she just kind of said, "Whatever you boys need, I'm here for you."
But if she's asleep, she will not wake up. I was locked outside after sneaking out one time, and my parents weren't home, and she was the only one, and she goes, "I will be up, don't worry." And I go, "Okay." I'm throwing rocks at your door, at your thing, which is like 3 stories up. I'm trying to throw rocks, and she's dead asleep, so I slept in the shed. And then I couldn't sleep any longer in the shed, so I called my Aunt Carol, who's, I think, ratted me out a little bit.
We did find out about it.
Fire alarms, my alarm. Like, yeah, when I'm asleep, I'm asleep.
Yeah, she is dead to the world.
And Peter's the guy that everybody likes to hang out with. Like from my friends to Jen's friends, everybody loves Peter. He's a fun, loving, easygoing guy that just can meld in with anybody. And you say, I always have an answer. Peter's actually, like, he's smarter and better than I am at all those things.
Well,
like,
and
just,
I think Peter, sorry for interrupting.
No.
I think Peter's a really good listener. Like he's listening to you, looking at you and putting whereas a lot of people aren't like that. So when someone walks away from you, they go, "Oh my gosh, he was actually listening to me and I felt important." And we hear that a lot where people go, "He is such a great kid." And I think it's your listening skills and just relating back to that person and making them feel like they are important. It doesn't matter who they are, but they are just as important as you are.
And then Sarah, Sarah's just a great person. Wrong but strong is her motto, but she puts 100% effort into everything she does, which as a parent, you're proud of. You're just so proud of what she's done. She's the kid that went to New York and spent 2 years there and figured it out and was working hard there and loved it, but figured out in her life she wanted to be back in Toronto, and it's okay, and that's okay. So smart, dynamic, fun. Everybody likes being around Sarah, so it's good.
And I'd also say you're very resilient. Like you knew from a very young age you wanted to do fashion, and it didn't matter what people said to you. You just kept at it, and you were actually having issues in school too. With and I always go back. I think sometimes people are jealous of other people if they know what they want and they're confident. And that was a hard time for you, but you took all that learning and all that, treatment from other people, and you became such a compassionate person. You don't want anybody to be bullied ever because you know what that's like. So I love that you kind of took some of your hard times and darker times and made them who you are today to help other people and be resilient. And not everybody can overcome that. And I think we're really proud of that. And that
You can tell that we're proud parents.
And I think also maybe
you guys
your
have done
family
great.
supporting you too has made you feel, yeah, I can do this. I can go to New York. I can follow my dreams. I have you. I hope you've always felt you've had us behind you for all of that. And I know I got a few phone calls super early in the morning, so I do know that sometimes we're behind you.
But even with that being said, like, this is that exact answer right there, and is the reason why I started podcasting. Because I went through so much emotionally, I'm so grateful that I didn't, I didn't have to worry too much about some other things, but I was worried about, how I was treated, who was treating me in certain ways or getting screwed over a lot of the times when I was growing up. And I swear to God, that is the reason why I started being okay with being transparent and vulnerable on social media. And that is what people need. Like, I wish I had someone talking about their anxiety and being bullied and getting broken up with or getting cheated on and things, because I didn't have that growing up. I would always follow these, bloggers, Instagrammers and things in fashion and social media, but it was all perfect lives, and they weren't. And that's why I just wanted to preface in the beginning, we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I struggle with some things. I have struggled with some things. Everybody on this couch has done that. The dogs aren't always happy, but it is very if you can get over some things, and it might take time is your biggest healer, but if you can do something good with a bad situation, then that speaks volumes about who you are. And I'm so happy that I am here on this couch today in a happy state and able to talk about it.
And I just want to say, I don't want anybody to ever feel that you're alone. Like, you always have somebody in your back, watching out for you. And if not, we're all here for you too.
Yeah.
Oh, my dog is highly needy.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that and say, I'm very proud of you, Sarah, I think, like we all said, you went through a lot as a kid, and resilient was a great word that you said about Sarah too. And you took everything that happened to you and then like turned it, even through life too, and turned it into like doing something that's you, like fully about you, going full time, out of the fashion job that you had. And it's all about you. Like, you took everything, your fashion experience, your bullying experience, your experience with relationships, what you love to do on social media, and you made it into like yourself, which is very cool. Very cool. And I know that you were talking about, your dreams of like wanting to do a business and everything, but you did it by just being you, which is really cool. And that's the best way to do it, honestly, is just taking what you love and doing it from that. So very proud of you. Yeah.
Well, you said like you could never teach grade 5, and like that's something I'm good at because I have like the patience, and I think they're funny, right? Like, I think that they're great. But on the other side, like, I could never do what you do. Like, the confidence you elude and what it takes to put yourself out there and be that vulnerable in front of that many people in just the world is something that's admirable. Like, I couldn't do it myself, but I think it is the most incredible thing that you do.
And honestly, like, yes, I do believe that, we have special talents that some other people don't have, whether that's patience, whether that is a business, or like being so socially good and listening and all that stuff to people, or whether that is being resilient in situations. I do think that if you're consistently working on something, like, I think if anyone on this couch was like, no, I want to start a podcast and I'm going to work on it every single day, we have that determination because we are a very stubborn, yes, but also
Type A personality.
yeah, that I think that if we switched today, or we for a day, what's that movie called where you switch bodies with somebody else? Freaky Friday. If we Freaky Friday today with any one of us, I think we could pull it off. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I think one of the things you're saying is talking about, we don't have the perfect life, but we're living the best lives we can.
Absolutely.
Which is great, and everybody's kind of settled into their best life, which as parents, we're extremely happy about. Like, that's what you want your kids. You just want your kids to be happy, and that's
kind. I think that kindness, like I heard about it, is. We always come back and we see people we haven't seen forever, and it's, you have to be kind to everybody. And I mean, sometimes those people aren't going to be kind to you, but you kind of figure it out. But I think that's really important.
It's that whole idea of, like, we talked about perspectives, and everybody sees the world from a different perspective, and you're trying to empathize with how somebody else saw the same situation because they react to that situation the way they saw it. And your perspective is different, so the way you reacted is different. And at the end of the day, everybody's just doing their best to be happy in whatever way they feel that looks like. So I feel like for all of us, it looks so different in all of our lives, but we're all doing what we feel we love to do and what's going to bring us the most happiness. And I think the best thing about our family is we don't judge each other for any of those decisions. We're the first ones to be there and support. Like, if I'm ever feeling lonely, like, the first people I feel I always have in my corner are you guys. No matter where in the world I am, I'm like, I always know I have them.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say too, like, it's been very nice with having parents that like are pushing you to do what you want to do instead of forcing you to go into something. Because I know, like, friends of mine when I was in medical science, like, they were really pushing them to become doctors and things. But I knew my parents at the end of the day would always tell me as a kid, do what you love and like figure out what you want to do, and we'll support you fully with that. So it's been a nice like thing to have on behind you, knowing that whatever you pick, you'll be supported. Whereas I think some other people don't have that privilege.
And I know we were talking about perspectives, but that's what I want people to see, like, yes, we are talking about some great things that our families, and I think it's a amazing habit to keep doing this and saying what you're grateful for about each other. And on birthdays, we now talk about why, you know, like, what is your favorite part about this person, or what do you most love about this person, and things like that, and just going around so that someone feels so appreciative. And even right now, I'm sure some of us didn't know how we felt about a certain thing that we all mentioned about each other. But it comes down to it again. You might not agree with, you know, the way we do something or say something or an advice that we give each other in our family dynamic. You could see it from a totally different perspective. Now watching this and hearing what we have to say, you could agree with that or you could not. And you're just the fact of seeing it and hearing it from somebody else's shoes and somebody else's perspective is so important. That's why podcasts in general are great to be able to hear it. You don't have to take someone's advice. You don't have to follow what they're saying. And you can honestly be like, oh, that just made me think, because I don't agree with that, but it made me think about it in a different way. And that's why I'm doing this. That's why I said it in a different podcast. I just want you to know that you have my experience that you can fall back on and just think about it. And I probably didn't handle it in the right way. I'll tell you how I handled it, tell you how I wish I handled it, and you can decide how you want to handle yours from there on out.
Life, like, everybody is imperfect. Like, people are just, you're never going to be perfect as much as you try, and maybe you want to be, and I fall into that sometimes. Maybe I
We all have.
exert myself into something because I want it to be perfect, but it's not going to be. And life is never going to be perfect, but that kind of is where you find the vulnerability and the true happiness. Like, when you're just you and it doesn't really matter the outcome, you're just living for the moment. I feel like that's when you get some of the best moments. And I find that a lot with us at a table, just telling stories. Like, everybody's just, there's no walls up. Your guards are just so down that it's just something that you feel like you're just you. You don't have to be any version of you. You're just you.
And you know how exhausting it is to be, like, completely, and I want to use my hands for this one, like, on all the time. Like, you know, when you step out of your house and you're going on an interview or you're going to something, you need to be, like, on in that conversation and that whatever. And that's how I felt in New York a lot of the time, because I didn't have my family and my close friends that I grew up with there. But I felt like I always had to look good, feel good, have worked out, woke up at a certain time and all this and beyond. And I'm like, I'm sick and tired of putting out that I love my life right now. And then it just makes you realize nobody's perfect, and people relate to you more if you show your vulnerable side, if you show what you're struggling with, why you're not perfect. Are you breaking out that day? Because you know how many other people in this entire world are breaking out that day too, and they'd feel better about seeing a video of you saying that. So many. You know what I mean? And that's just the beauty of being authentic and being able to be vulnerable of yourself and perspectives.
And just when you guys were talking, one thing that came to mind was when you were younger, around the table, we'd always ask around the dinner table what was good about your day and what was not good about your day. And I think that kind of helped us talk about things. I mean, it doesn't all have to be good. So what was bad, and maybe it was someone that wasn't nice to you at school, or you were, you know, not doing well in some grades. But that kind of, I hope, helped you know, figure some of this out and, you know, living your best day. But it's not always going to be good days. There are going to be bad days, but it's good to talk about it. And
Yeah, that actually was a very nice thing you guys did. And I even do that with Maddie. I'm trying to, like, incorporate that in our dinners and, like, spend actual family time without phone and, like, just sit down with each other, whether it's breakfast or dinner or whenever we can be together when she's not at work. But it's nice to, like, spend a true quality time and then actually, like, talk about, you know, how you're doing and how everything is. And yeah, like that was a very nice thing to teach as a kid, because I'm trying to keep that going.
yeah, and just I want to have a plug in for Maddie, Peter's girlfriend. We love her.
Love her.
Yes, we do.
We want to keep her.
She's allowed to stay. So
Was it from yourself, or was
no,
it like
it was
outside
from
source?
one of Dad's friends.
All
And I will
right.
take that
Yeah.
and run with it. So thank you so much for that.
And I think I'm trying to do things that are for myself, putting myself first. And that, I think, I don't know if that's helpful, but it's just making me do something that I, you know, if it's exercise or whatever, but it's important that I find time to do something for myself and not just for everybody else all the time.
You are one of the biggest givers. Like, you like to make sure everybody else is okay, and sometimes by doing that you forget about you. And I think it's until you feel not burnt out, but like stressed or just like overwhelmed that you remember, oh, I didn't work out today or I didn't do that. And that makes me feel better. So like, I'm really proud of you because I think you're right. Like the past little while, like you've been a lot better at filling your own cup and you still fill everybody else's. Like you are the first person to solve a problem for any of us. And then but now you realize how important it is that you're filled with like pickleball or your Pilates. And like, it's the things that, And I think by watching you do that, I think I kind of resonated with it a little bit more. And I was like, you know what? You do need those moments. Like you can work out at home and you still feel good, but there's a difference in going out and doing a social workout with your friends or pickleball, or now I'm back to hockey and I'm like, okay, I feel way better that day and the next day.
Yeah, I guess like, you only have so much gas in the tank. Actually, is a funny thing to say, but it's true.
Circling
like,
back.
you only have so much energy in your day, and like they always say too on flights, like put your gas mask on first because you can only help people out too if you're feeling good about yourself and you're helping yourself. And you're doing well for yourself, then you can kind of like have that extra time to give back to people. And if you don't have that and you're giving all your bandwidth out to everyone instead of yourself, then you'll end up, feeling a little, not happy about yourself, not happy with where you are, and have like animosity and stuff like that, which is not a good thing. So I think that's great that you're doing that. I kind of seen that. And it's true though, like you need to make yourself happy first, then you can project that and do things for other people.
And it's just like when people say the whole like you work a 9 to 5 or you like all day you're doing things for us and for other people, but you can think of it in the whole saying of like you work 9 to 5 for somebody else, you need to do something for yourself at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day or both. And
888 rule.
Yeah, what's the 888 rule?
That you taught us that, didn't you? The 888.
Or no, isn't like the 3 things?
No, yeah, so what I do about my day. Do you want me to say that?
Yeah.
No? So every single day I have a list of things that I need to do for myself. And I make sure though that list that I have to complete is both business related and also personal. So it's not completed and my day is not checked off until I actually do personal things for myself. So I have 2 personal things I do every single day, or 3 usually. But I also have 3 business things that I need to do. And it just keeps yourself in check of like making sure you're working on yourself, but at the same time, you're working for my company. But also like if you have a job, it's the same thing. And for myself, it would be things like I need to work out legs today, and like that I have to work out legs. And you pre-plan your list at the start of the day or the night before, so that one, you have the time in the morning to start executing on that, but you also can't like based on how you wake up and what you see on your phone. You would think maybe, I have this many people messaging me here or whatever. I can't do these things that I thought. No, you have to do it before that happens so that you have to stick to what you had because that's the true thing that's going to benefit you the next day.
And I think that's so healthy and that's the only way to grow is putting down every single thing that you need to get done for yourself, for other people, for your mentally, physically, whatever that may be. But then you're already planning backwards as to, okay, no, I thought I could sleep in today, but actually I want to do A, B, C, D. So I'm going to wake up this early so that I can have time for all that.
Exactly.
And you're setting yourself up for success at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I find that's helpful for me. I do survive on a lot of lists, agenda, calendars, and Post-it notes. But it does help me, and I prepare the night before. Like I've got everything, even the coffee on to be set for the morning, and then it just helps with my day and being able to integrate something for myself and getting a lot done.
I'm a big fan of day old coffee because it's already there and ready for me in the fridge. Some people think that's gross, whatever. Also, Peter, really proud of you there. You were about to swear, and then you probably looked at Mom's face, and then he goes, "Oh," and he was probably going to be
anything's
shoot.
allowed. I know you guys,
shoot.
they don't want to hear it, but anything's allowed on this podcast. So if one slips, you're fine.
Yeah, I think I wasn't worried about the podcast. It's more Mom.
Yeah, he looked at Mom's face and he was like, "Oh, shoot."
Now people swear more, so I think it's more acceptable. But it's
No.
Doesn't it just feel so good sometimes?
See, no, I try to keep it out of my vocabulary.
Well, because you're teaching grade 5s.
Well, yeah, and I don't want to slip. I don't want to slip it up. Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Now, is there anyone want to add any last things before we wrap her up? This won't be the last you see of them, but this is the last for now.
If you want more, we're always here.
Yeah, you let us
So
know.
if you want more, we're always here. Call me, beat me.
Anyone going once?
I'll just say that I'm very, very happy with the family that we have. And you can't pick your family. You're born into it, obviously. But you can choose your friends and who you want to spend your time with. And I would want to spend my time with my family over anyone else in the world.
We are each other's friends too.
We are lucky in the sense. We are lucky in the sense that like we didn't choose our family, but we choose our family now. Like we choose to always get together, and I think for the three of us, we're on the same page. It's like our happiest times, like what we want to do most is come back home and spend time as a family.
Yeah, like I wanted to take this podcast first, but this was the only time we had to do
Everyone
it.
here.
So I wanted to do it as the first podcast that I took, but we squeezed it in. And I think we should do a podcast of like, I'm going to give you guys to be the leaders and create the topic and see, because that could be fun too.
I'll
No?
lead one.
Yeah, you could get like a get to know Sarah from the perspective of her family thing.
Yeah,
That'd be good.
true.
No, watch us play some board games, some Family Feud. Watch
Not
how
all of us like
competitive it
that.
comes.
God.
Watch Dad drink Pink Whitney for a night.
No, it's a Pillsbury Doughboy.
Oh, we have some very funny stories that we could tell, but that would take way too long. That's for another day. But thank you guys so much. I love all of you and I love everyone watching. Please do subscribe and you will get to see more of me and probably a lot more of them too. Yeah. That could be unfortunately or that could be fortunately. So we'll see how that goes. But I love you guys and I will see you next Thursday.